What's up, y'all? I just want to give a quick thank you to today's sponsor, Raid Channel. Not playing. I just want to give a quick thank you for all the support on my last video. Y'all be leaving the most wholesome and supportive comments that you got me checking my phone every couple of minutes to check for any new ones. Damn, I wonder if this is what a drug addiction feels like. Anyway, thanks again, y'all. So you consider yourself to be a highly self-aware person. At the very least, more aware than most people. You're constantly in your own world, either self-reflecting or trying to better understand why you're the way you are and what sequences of mental processes led you to make the decisions you made. Maybe you're drawn to self-improvement related content or psychology videos because it helps you have a better understanding of yourself and therefore have better control of your life so that you can steer it towards a brighter direction. Maybe you've been complimented by others on how level-headed you are and how you seem to just understand them when in actuality, it's just because you've experienced what they've experienced, with the only difference being that you reflected on it way more than they have to the point where you understand why things turn out that way and what feelings are associated with it. But perhaps that's why people are drawn to you, because your high levels of self-awareness helps them identify things that they struggle to identify within themselves. You ever been called a therapist friend before? Having high levels of self-awareness can give you an edge over other people because it allows you to better identify the parts that make you tick, which in turn can make it easier for you to have control over yourself. It's like you're playing an MMO against other people, but you know the strategies and mechanics to the game better than most, and therefore are able to level up and get better equipment before everyone else. It kinda sounds like an OP buff to your character build, right? But let's be real here. It's not. It could be a blessing that makes your life richer and more fulfilling than most, or it could be a curse that will drag you down to the endless abyss. And the reality is, the pull towards the latter is far stronger than the pull towards the former. What do I mean by that? Let's talk about it. Have you ever just learned or realized something that forever changed the way you think or view the world? It can be a really cool feeling, right? It's like you've awakened from the matrix or you become enlightened. But what if that thing you learned was something you were better off not knowing? What if that realization constantly torments you and makes it harder for you to enjoy things as they are? Most times, that's what high levels of self-awareness feels like. I'm sure you've experienced this before. Maybe you're just chilling in your room, lying in your bed and watching YouTube videos, kind of like right now. A voice in your head is telling you that you should be doing something more productive. Maybe going to the gym, studying, doing your homework, developing a skill, and then you tell that voice, maybe in a little bit, I'm kind of tired right now. But then that voice claps back and utterly destroys you. It tells you, you know you're not actually tired, you're just being lazy. You know that the way you feel is temporary, and you can still act in spite of it. Matter of fact, the way you feel can change once you actually start doing the thing. You might feel lazy now, but once you start getting the momentum going, you'll feel engaged and focused. It's just that building momentum is really difficult. But you've done it before, which is why I know you're capable of taking action right now. And yet, you still haven't. Not by inability, but by choice. And I will constantly remind you as you're lying there staring at your phone that you literally have the power to do something more productive but choose not to. Damn, that one was too real for me. Alright, here's another one. Maybe you've realized that you're a socially anxious person. You've learned what situations get you anxious and when your anxiety starts spiraling out of control. This results in you doing one of two things. Case 1. You actively choose not to get yourself into situations that trigger your social anxiety, such as avoiding and turning down any invitations to social events or just staying in as much as possible. Case 2. You get yourself into those said situations, start feeling anxious, realize that you're feeling anxious, become hyper-fixated on the fact that you're feeling anxious, making anxiety even worse, and as a result, you end up having a horrible time in said social situation because you are too stuck in your own head that you fail to just take in the moment. You know what this all sounds like? Self-induced torture and sabotage. Honestly, that's what high self-awareness feels like sometimes. It can be problematic in that it either takes away from the moment and prevents you from being present, or it makes you so aware of your problems that you begin to internalize them and make them your identity. You're not feeling anxious, you're an anxious person. You're not feeling lazy, you are lazy. You can't enjoy relaxing, you know you're capable of doing more. It's moments like these where high self-awareness drags us down to wallow in our own misery. And unfortunately, these aren't one-off moments that happen from time to time. They're an everyday occurrence. So now you're like, damn, this f***ing sucks. Thanks for making me aware of the flaws of self-awareness. Now I'm going to be thinking about it all the time, thus making my day-to-day even more tormenting. And to that, I say, hey man, you're welcome. That's what homies are for, to drag each other down so that they can suffer together. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Like I said before, high self-awareness could be a blessing or a curse. It all depends on what actions we decide to take given the information high self-awareness provides us with. If we're aware that we have a lot of mental baggage to sort out, do we choose to do the internal work so that it doesn't fester and manifest in unhealthy ways? If we're aware that we're feeling lazy and that the feeling is temporary, do we decide to push through and take action in spite of how we feel? That's how you utilize high self-awareness to live a more meaningful and fulfilling life. The reality is that it's a damn difficult thing to do. Why? Because our brain naturally follows the path of least resistance, and it's far easier to just do nothing and wallow in our own misery than it is to go against that feeling and act in spite of it. But it's precisely the fact that it is so difficult that suggests how valuable it is. The things we value in life, whether it be material or intangible, aren't easy to attain. If you want a nice car, you need a lot of money. To get a lot of money, you need a well-paying job. To get a well-paying job, you have to put in the work to show that you're worthy of that position. If you want a healthy relationship, you need to find someone you're compatible with. To know who you're compatible with, you need to know yourself in terms of your traits, your flaws, your values, and what you seek in a person. To know yourself, you need to do the internal work. These aren't easy things to do. If they were, everyone would be thriving. But surprise, surprise, everyone's depressed and desperately searching for the will to live like it's the one piece. But who knows, maybe the reason why we're so depressed and empty is because we don't have the awareness to identify the things worth pursuing in our lives. Maybe you're thinking, bro, this all sounds like ass. Having high levels of self-awareness is straight doggy doo-doo. Whether I choose to wallow in my own misery or act in spite of how I feel, it still sucks. And either way, the awareness continues to make me feel like shit. I wish I wasn't so self-aware because at least that way I could be in ignorant bliss. It's only a problem if I make it out to be one, and that's exactly what my self-awareness does. And to that, I say, yeah, it is ass, man. I mean, I think the title of this video speaks for itself. And what are you going to do about it? Is reality going to bend itself backwards for you because you don't like the way it is? Shit, if that's the case, do me a solid and send an Asian baddie my way. Welcome to the human experience. This is our reality, and all we can really do is make the most out of the cards we've been dealt, and you've been given the high self-awareness card. Maybe you think it sucks, and that's completely valid. There's nothing wrong with you for feeling that way. Don't fall into the trap of pathologizing the way you feel. It's all a feature of the human experience. But whether you like it or not, life will continue to move forward, and either you do your best to trudge along with it, or succumb to the weight of your burdens and get left behind. Furthermore, I don't think having less self-awareness is the solution to your anguish. Problems are problems, whether you're aware of them or not. Being less self-aware just means you'll struggle to identify them. Why do you think your dad beats you or resorts to alcoholism? It's because he has his own problems he needs to sort out, and he doesn't have the awareness to identify and deal with them. Do you want to be just like your dad? Okay, that was a little out of pocket, my fault. But hopefully you get the point. You gotta pick your poison. Is there any way to combat self-awareness so that it's less agonizing and doesn't sabotage as much? Yeah, it's by accepting it. At least, that's what's helped with me. Awareness is just your mind's way of processing information and perceiving reality. When you come to terms with the fact that that's just how your mind operates, it becomes less tormenting because you finally stop resisting it. And remember, your brain follows the path of least resistance. Now, don't take this the wrong way. Acceptance does not mean negligence and complacency. Resisting the feelings associated with high self-awareness is not the same as resisting the trait that is high self-awareness. You can accept the fact that that's just how your brain operates while still resisting the feelings that come with it. Matter of fact, I think that's something you should do so that you aren't a slave to your own emotions. Emotions are like the wind, they come and go. If you're always drifting along with them, you'll end up nowhere near where you want to be in life. Here's another thing you can do to make self-awareness less agonizing. Learn to be kinder to yourself. Who said you had to be perfect? That you always have to be productive? That you can't feel like human garbage from time to time? We're all going to have our moments of weakness where we fall back to our old ways. And when we're especially hard on ourselves and beat ourselves up for it, it makes it so much harder to bounce back and get our shit together again. You know when your dad would beat you as a kid for doing something and you were too terrified to do that thing again? Yeah, that's what you're doing to yourself, but emotionally. So chill out. Take your steps forward, forgive yourself when you end up taking a couple steps back, and continue to move forward when you're ready. The way we think, the traits we have, the features we were inherently born with, they are all tools we can pull out of our tool belt to help us navigate this journey that is life. Whether we choose to build a beautiful house or destroy everything around us, all depends on how we use those tools, and high levels of self-awareness is just one of many of them. Being self-aware is torture. But it's also the key that allows us to find our own purpose and meaning in life, and that's a price I'm willing to pay. What about you? Alright, that's it for now. Take care guys, see you next time.